Alright guys, we have some breaking news here relating to Sebastian Fundora, the current super welterweight world champion. Now he's going to be taking on, according to this, let me read the announcement. Verbal agreement in place for Sebastian Fundora to defend his WBC 154-pound title against Keith Thurman on October 18th in Las Vegas. I've made my opinion more than clear on this channel various times about what I think about Sebastian Fundora. Go and check it out. Any video, I give my opinion. If you want it again, here it is. I think he is a good fighter. I think he picks the easier fights, and I think he runs from the big challenges that face him. Now, I say this for a few reasons. And I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. You look at what Sebastian Fundora has done. He fought Tim Tszyu twice. Now the second time he did give him a pizzling, I'll own up to that. But the first time he fought a half-blind smaller man for 9 rounds and just scraped a decision victory. He then chases Errol Spence, someone who we know is not going to fight, for 12 months whilst holding on to that belt. Well, he had 2 belts at that time. He then gets offered... Well, doesn't get offered. He gets mandated a fight against Xander Zayas. Says, yeah, no, I'd prefer to relinquish my belt than fight Xander Zayas and lose them both. Takes the second Tszyu fight. Takes a Chordell Booker fight in between then. Blitzes him, but I don't really have the most highest thoughts on Chordell Booker. Fight Tszyu, I'll give him credit. He went in there, did the job. I give him that. It was impressive win. I had Tszyu backed. But look, he got in there and did what he had to do. And I said after that, look, I'll give you credit where credit's due. And I did. I gave him the credit. He gave Tszyu a hiding on that night. But then I said, I want to see you now step up and take another challenge. I want to see you in there with your Bakram Murtazaliyevs, Virgil Ortiz, even Jerome Butenis that's moved up. Josh Kelly, somebody. Now, that brings us to Keith Thurman, because it sounds like I'm being very disrespectful to Keith Thurman. I think Keith Thurman was a very, very good fighter. I think right now, I'd give my opinion on him the same way I almost gave it on Manny Pacquiao. Obviously, I think Manny Pacquiao's a much better fighter and bigger legacy and a bigger legend than Keith Thurman. My point being is, Keith Thurman hasn't been very active. He's 36. Lots and lots of wins. He's only ever lost 1 fight. But I've got his box rec up here so I can get it all exact. So if we have a look here, he fought Brock Jarvis. That was in Sydney in March. Won that quite comfortably. I actually thought Brock Jarvis fought quite good in the first round, and then Keith Thurman turned it on, and it was over very, very, very quickly, winning in the 3rd round. I think it was body shots that did him. If I remember correctly, it was body shots, and it was brutal. Before that, he fought in 2022, beat Mario Barrios. I made my thoughts clear on Mario Barrios. And before that was 2019 when he beat Manny Pacquiao. So that gives you a run of... So we're in 2025. And in the past 6-7 years here, he's fought 3 times. Once against quite an old Manny Pacquiao who still beat him. Once against Mario Barrios, who, to be fair to Keith Thurman, is a world champion right now. And Brock Jarvis. Brock Jarvis, I think, is a good Australian level fighter. He's proven that he can fight domestically very, very well. But each time he's stepped up sort of higher than that, he has struggled. He lost to Liam Paro, didn't he? I think. And then obviously to Keith Thurman. So my question is, not only... why is Sebastian Fundora allowed to fight Keith Thurman as his title defense? But how has Keith Thurman got himself a title fight? I'll give Keith Thurman credit. That is some terrific work. That is world-class work right there. I mean, how he shimmied himself up. I guess the fact is, maybe I'm looking at it wrong, because last year he was supposed to fight Tim Tszyu when Fundora fought him the first time. Keith Thurman pulls out 14 days, 11 days beforehand with a ruptured bicep. Sustains that injury, and we know what happens then with the Fundora story and the Tim Tszyu story. Thurman then takes the fight against Brock Jarvis this year in Sydney, demolishes him, does what he has to do. I just expected him to need to fight someone higher ranked, someone within this super welterweight division, within the top 5, maybe top 10, and make a statement. But all of a sudden, the guy looks like he's going to get himself a title fight in October here. We're going to see. We're going to find out. This is a verbal agreement. Lots of stuff has to happen before that gets made. Who is the other champions within that Sebastian Fundora? Not champions. Who are the other highly ranked people within the WBC? Give me one moment so I can see. Xander Zayas, yep, we know you. Barkram, when he's going to fight. Does anyone know? Sebastian Fundora with WBC interim world super welterweight champion Virgil Ortiz. Yep, well that would be a fight that I'd love to see, but Virgil Ortiz, to say Virgil Ortiz doesn't want the fight, we would just know that's not true, especially if he's fighting Jaron Butenis. Jaron Butenis is number 1 in that division. Sergey Boachuk is 2. Ramos 3. Keith Thurman is 8th. Madrimov is 7th. Josh Kelly 14th. Katsarakis 15th. It's not an amazing one. None of those really pull you aside and say, I want to see that fight, eh? Like, you got Lima there, he's fighting Ennis, and then Ennis is fighting Virgil Ortiz. So that takes out those 3 people. Madrimov, I think Madrimov's a good fighter. I thought he fought well against Terence Crawford. I know he lost, but I thought he fought well. Not as well when he fought Virgil Ortiz. I thought Virgil Ortiz found him out and performed very, very well. Now, look, this is just the WBC rankings. There's other people in other governing bodies that are better than these ones, but I like to just look narrowly into these ones, because typically the people within your governing body that you're ranked in are the people you get matched with, unless you're a part of the same promotion or you're other champions or former champions, and it becomes a big money fight. But Keith Thurman, I don't know, could we not, I don't know, like, I can't really sit here and give you a better alternative reading those names. I mean, they're not going to give it to Madrimov. He's just lost twice in a row. I mean, you could do Madrimov Thurman, the winner of that. At least that gives the winner, especially if it's Thurman, you say, well, he's gone, he's beat Barrios a few years ago, got injured, beat Jarvis, has come and beat Madrimov, and now he's in a title fight. I don't know, guys. I don't know. It doesn't excite me. I guess the question is, what chance do we give Keith Thurman of beating Sebastian Fundora? For me, to be honest, I give him a good chance. That's probably biased because I don't really rate Fundora, but I give him a very good chance. I think what I kept saying in the build up to the Tszyu vs Fundora 2 fight was, I want to see Tszyu go to the body. We saw what Brian Mendoza did to him when he went to the body, finished the fight. And Tszyu, for some reason, look, they had their plan. I'm not going to begrudge their plan. We can all have our opinions now that we've seen the fight and how it went and whatever else. If I was training Tszyu, I would have spent the whole training camp telling him to hit that body and just batter the body, because I think that is the way to success. Trying to reach such a faraway target that's a tough ask. You're gonna have to walk through hell to try and get it done. And Tszyu did walk through hell and did land some shots, just none of them were enough to drop him. For me, what I saw Thurman do to Jarvis is what I want to see Thurman do to Fundora. And I think the power we saw one time show against Jarvis, who is a very muscular built man compared to what sort of physical presence Fundora has. There's a much more padding on Brock Jarvis's abdomen than there is on Sebastian Fundora. And I'm not going to discredit. I still believe that a 28, 29-year-old Keith Thurman was a very, very good fighter. I guess the question is, what does this guy have left in the tank? Very surprised he got this fight. I mean, the hustle is real for Keith Thurman. I mean, he's got himself a very good fight, I think. Like, he's got himself a world title shot when, I don't know, nobody was really talking about him. Nobody was really hyping it up. Nobody was there saying, Fundora, next, you've got to fight Thurman. It's great work from the Thurman team. I don't know, guys. Maybe I just hate on Sebastian Fundora too much. Maybe it's just me. Look, I'll own up to that. If I'm just hating on the guy, and he blitzes Keith Thurman like I've never seen before, look, I will be here sitting right in front of this computer, telling you guys that I was very wrong. Like I said when he beat Tszyu, I was wrong with that. I thought Tszyu was going to get him, but he showed his worth, and that's all I want. I have no personal begrudging against Sebastian Fundora or his team, or what sort of fighter Sebastian Fundora is. My begrudging comes from the level of opponent that he chooses to face. Alright guys, that is all for today. Like, subscribe if you are new, leave your thoughts in the comments below what you guys think, and I'm out of here guys. See ya!